Hello there, good people. Welcome to It's a Shaw Thing. I'm your host, Rob Shaw, here to talk a little fantasy football. Time to keep you up with who's moving up and who's moving in the wrong direction with the good guys first. Matt Ryan, quarterback of the Falcons, was fantastic this weekend. He threw for 229 yards against the Dolphins. He threw 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He got the feeling he could have thrown for a lot more touchdowns and yards if not for the fact that they were ahead and they could start playing a little safe with the ball on the ground. And that was certainly done with Michael Turner at the end of the game. But during the game, he threw to Tony Gonzalez, Roddy White, Michael Jenkins, nice game. Even Jarius Norwood from the backfield is a decent receiving threat. This team is stacked when it comes to receiving weapons. I really like the Falcons' passing game this year. Matt Ryan, a player you want to invest in. As far as someone else you want to invest in right now, how about Julius Jones with the Seattle Seahawks? This team was so concerned about their running game that they brought in Edgerrin James with just a couple of weeks left in the preseason. Well, maybe they don't have to panic so much. 19 carries, 117 rushing yards for Julius Jones. That includes a 62-yard touchdown that he scored. All is well for Julius Jones right now. Maybe consider benching Jamal Lewis, Larry Johnson. Those are 2 players right now that Jones is clearly better than. And finally, another player moving in the right direction right now. I think you really have to like what's going on with Patrick Creighton and the Dallas Cowboys passing game. Look, T.O.'s not there anymore. That's a fact. We figured Roy Williams would fill in that role. We also knew that Jason Witten would do good as usual. What we didn't know was who's going to be the final part of that passing game, and the answer seems to be Creighton. Look at the numbers he put up this past weekend. He had 4 receptions for 135 yards. Yikes. That also includes 80 yards on 1 single touchdown that he scored. It was a great game for Creighton and the Cowboys. They could clearly move the ball in the air even with T.O. gone, so things are looking good for Creighton. He's the missing piece right now who's available in many fantasy leagues. And now as far as 3 players moving in the wrong direction, I have to say that Larry Johnson was disgraceful this past weekend. 11 carries, 20 rushing yards. He had a reception for 6 yards. That didn't help matters all that much. The only good news for him is that Jamal Charles didn't do all that well himself. That, of course, the backup running back for the Chiefs. He had 4 carries for 8 yards. Not enough to displace Larry Johnson quite yet, but at the same time, Johnson clearly has not resorted back to the player he once was. He used to rush for over 1,700 yards a season. Things are not good in Kansas City for anyone, particularly the rushing game. And then another player moving in the wrong direction, Matt Schaub. What happened there? I picked this guy to be a standout fantasy performer. Instead, he was a dud against the New York Jets. He didn't throw a single touchdown. He threw 1 interception, just 166 yards of passing. How does that happen when you have Andre Johnson? Let me explain how it happens. You throw the ball only 4 times to him on short passes, racking up 35 yards. So his big plays were to Owen Daniels and such. I know Kevin Walter wasn't healthy, but he can't blame the fact that Schaub performed poorly on him. Things are not looking good in Houston right now. Now, part of it can be that the Jets defense is that good. Rex Ryan brought in a couple of guys, including Bart Scott. So they are a very good defense, but this game was played at home. It was a season opener. This is very concerning. You might want to jump on the waiver wire and grab a backup like Matt Hasselbeck, or maybe hope for better for Matt Castle once he gets healthy. And finally, another guy to focus in on who's moving in the wrong direction. I love the guy to death. Hakeem Nicks is going to be a great wide receiver for the New York Giants. The problem is right now he's pretty low in the depth charts. There's some other guys ahead of him, including Mario Manningham, who had a very nice week, the best of all the Jets receiving options. Kevin Bosk seems to be the #1 option when it comes to passes as well. He's the big tight end. And even Steve Smith, Dominique Hicks, and also play a role. So there's a lot of different guys who are going to play a role in this passing game. He keeps it from being predictable, which is good when they try to challenge some opposing defenses. But as far as us fantasy managers, it's not the best of situations. Well, my friends, that's all for now. See you right back here at opensports.com tomorrow. Until then, enjoy some Monday Night Football.